just kept it to myself. I don't wanna know if you're playing me. Keep it on the low, 'cause my heart can't take it anymore. And if you're creeping, please don't let it show. Oh baby, I don't wanna know. Oh baby.
Yo, this is your man Who Did It. Who Did It this time, coming at you with another episode, another installment to the classic series, Reality Clips, where we like to capture certain songs, movie clips, documentaries, and we like to apply it to our daily walk. We like to focus on the inner parts of our men and woman-like behavior, such as the spirit world. And we also like to capture who our enemy is so that we can make sure that we prevent things from happening to us and our households. And on this specific episode, we are going to talk about the song, I believe from 2003 or 2004 by that guy named Mario Winans, called I Don't Wanna Know. I don't want to know if you're playing me. I don't want to know. Now, if you remember a few months back, a few months back, we talked about the song You Got Me Twisted by Keith Sweat. And I stated that between the pro-elixir and the non-pro-elixir people walking around talking about how godlike they are, and they put all of the reasons and explanations on certain branches of people, certain people such as the Moabites and certain African nations, and why this thing came to where we was in a pandemic. And then you had people that was stating that it was because of certain presidents or pharaohs, I like to call them. They just had us all twisted for their gain, not ours, for our demise, not theirs. Well, that was then, and this is now. So the other day I'm getting a lineup, getting a haircut, and my barber says that, you know what's sad, bro? A lot of these people, they don't want to know. And we both laughed in unison, like Mario Winans. And I bring up that song, and bear with me if you hear the wind and they cutting down some trees in the backyard. And that song was so whack to me back then because of what Mario Winans and I believe P. Diddy and them dudes, or bad boy producers, was enlightening and encouraging men to think. If you're being played by a female, or nowadays a transformer and such, you shouldn't want to know. Please don't let it show and all this other stuff. Just keep playing me. Let me be a fool. I'm a fool for love, and I don't want to know if you're playing me. I remember saying back then when I was in New York in JUCO, junior college, saying that this is asinine. This is nonsense. This is craziness. Insanity. For a man to know he's getting played by a woman, and for him not to step up and challenge her to make sure that, he's not being played, to make sure that this is something false. Well, what is the difference between Mario Winans' song and these foolish people nowadays who don't want to know? And I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because, again, bear with me with the noise in the background. Have you ever met men and women, to all of the subscribers and visitors of the page, welcome. Have you ever met men and women in certain surroundings, certain get-togethers, where you start talking about the spirit world, things that you cannot see, devices that were set up for our demise, historical events, political jargon, religious banter, overseas and international problems that does not help our people advance? I'm trying to be PC and I'm trying to be respectful. the Roe versus Wade stuff and no disrespect, the sexual connotation, and is it a man and is it a woman? All of these things are a part of that little sword, I like to call it, and it's really a big sword, or that little book that they're trying to abolish, the word of God. There's a lot of things in there that people don't want to know. They may say that men wrote it, which they are correct, but who gave them the words to write? That's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. They may tell you that that book is so hard to figure out. They may tell you that there's so many different versions, which they are correct. Even though the word of God told you don't add and take away. And they did it anyway, and that's why Judgment Day needs to happen. But then the irony of all of that is these are the same people that are blindly walking towards men now. They'll tell you men wrote this book, but men wrote your history book. Men wrote your diet plan. Men wrote your prescription. Men wrote your demise. Men write the news, the teleprompters. Men are doing that. Men are announcing your ball games. Men are telling you who to vote for, who to root for, and what guys for the black community. Men did that. But these few men that took the time to put together these manuscripts for us to be enlightened all through time to where we are right now in 2022, going on 23 here shortly. You'll tell me about, I don't got time to hear that. But then when the clock strikes 12 and the phone lines are tied up for the Most High, even though I'm being sarcastic, his phone line can never be tied up. You can always reach him because he's everywhere. These same people will tell you they don't want to know about what's coming. I'll just deal with it when it gets here. But they'll tell you that a mask can prevent you from this and that. They'll tell you that if you eat this and that, you should be good. And they'll tell you that the Most High did without the pork and all this other stuff. But they don't want to know. They don't want to know about if they're poisoning your food. They don't want to know if they're poisoning your crops. They don't want to know if they touch in the air. They don't want to know the signs that are leading up to prophecy and the rapture and the tribulation period. If you believe in that type of thing, but let's just say you're not. You're a little bit, you're in the gray area. You don't know necessarily what the tribulation period or the rapture even looks like, or even what these terms mean. This voice that you're hearing right now could be the push for you to go Google, possibly ask your clergy or someone in your family who is into the religious world or the spiritual world. Or you just get these grown men, and I'm definitely hitting on the men. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what? You don't want to know what's coming ahead? You don't want to know that there's a train on the track coming your way? You sound like Mario Winans. You just want to keep being played by politicians, politricks. You just want to keep being played by the same oppressor, and I've always said this, the same one who gave you all of these diseases, King Hospital, Killer King Hospital, and different diseases abroad, and showed you that he's done things to Oklahoma City in the past. And again, I'm trying to be politically correct. He's giving you food for certain hormones to go another way, another direction. He's taught you to hate yourself, but now all of a sudden he loves you. But you don't want to know what God has to say. And sometimes I feel like we acknowledge who he is, and he's broader and he expands farther than the heavens. But you don't want to talk to him. You don't want to know. Wouldn't that be disrespectful? That's a whole nother video, I guess, for a whole nother time. And I'm out of time. I just wanted y'all to sit down and start to contemplate how you're going to address this with your friends. And if some of you are on the other end of the fence, or on the other side of the fence, pardon me, or you're unsure, you're searching, please don't be one of these niggas out here, I don't want to know. Well then, I'll be honest with you. If you don't want to know, maybe you're already flying off the cliff. And that so-called term of being saved, that's not for me to say. But what if I told you, don't wait until the last minute to pull your string for the parachute? Because you might already be smack dab on your way to an eternity that no one can save you. And with that, this is your man Who Did It this time. Be on the lookout for my my backup page, Who Done It. And I just want you all to be wise, be well. And if you're searching, pardon me, pay attention to the little signs, man. He's always with you. I'm out.
Just can't believe this, man. It's just another night of these thoughts. Can't get this out of my head. Somebody said they saw you. The person you were kissing wasn't me, and I would never ask you. I just kept it to myself. I don't wanna know if you're playing me. Keep it on the low, 'cause my